It's been 1 year since the massacre at Sandy Hook Elementary, which left 20 children and 6 educators dead last December. And in the past year, nearly every state has enacted some sort of gun law. But the question remains, are these gun laws really working? One America's Cindy Lundeberg joins us now to help break down those numbers. Welcome, Cindy.
Thanks for having me, Cassie. Well, it has been a year and the gun debate still wages on. Since the Newtown massacre, there have been more than 1,500 gun bills and more than 100 of them have actually become law. But a new study by Mother Jones finds that in the year since Sandy Hook, 194 children under the age of 12 still died from the use of guns. That's an average of 16 children a month. The study also found that most of these deaths were in the homes of people who had not properly secured their guns. Nearly every state passed some sort of gun law since last December, but not one of them passed a law stiffening the punishment for parents who let their guns get in the wrong hands.
So, Cindy, as you mentioned, there have been more than 100 new gun laws passed now, but has this had any measurable impact on the number of children who've lost their lives at the hands of a gunman?
Well, when I say 100 gun laws, actually 70 of them actually loosened restrictions for gun owners, meaning more people could get guns more easily. And some states tightened them, meaning they made stiffer background checks or they tightened the use of magazines so they couldn't have as many rounds in them. One state that actually loosened their gun laws was Louisiana. And Louisiana has the highest rate of gun violence in the country. But Louisiana does not rank in the top 10 most gun-friendly states. So even though it loosened its gun restrictions, it doesn't even rank in the top 10 of the most gun-friendly states. But as far as children in deaths, in 2011, there was 119 children that died by gunfire. In 2013, after Sandy Hook, there was 194. So it actually seems like children dying by guns has gone up since all this talk about gun debates and gun control.
I see. And I'm curious, did this study mention a specific reason for all these deaths? I guess the bigger question really is, are experts suggesting a better way to help keep kids away from guns?
The study found that children that were in the homes of guns and parents didn't properly lock up their guns, they were more likely to actually die by gunfire. And if you remember, Cassie, in the Sandy Hook massacre, Adam Lanza actually used a gun that he had access to inside of his own home. So the question is, how do we combat this? Gun experts say the best thing to do is lock up your guns, make sure children can't get to them. Another opposing kind of piece to that is some people say actually educate your children on firearms, and then they won't be curious and they won't kind of want to go near them. But for me as a gun owner, I say for every story that there's a tragedy about a child with a gun, there's a story about a child that does something positive with a gun, whether it be stops a crime or protects their family.
And obviously when something like this, like the Newtown tragedy occurs, one of the main goals for every school is future prevention. Could you tell us what schools are doing now to stop potential school shootings in advance?
Well, since Newtown, there have actually been 24 other school shootings. So schools right now are frantically trying to figure out what they can do to stop it. Well, 20% of schools in the country actually receive aid from President Obama to go along with mental health and counseling to help maybe students that could be suffering from that. And the money goes to, like I said, mental health and counseling. Some schools have also discussed arming teachers and placing metal detectors. But the biggest thing that research on school shootings shows is that these are not random occurrences. These children display things possibly before the shootings that if people had maybe paid more attention, they could have helped prevent.
Right. And now, aside from kids who are bullied, then some kids also, may have serious mental issues, and that's kind of a more complicated issue.
That is kind of the nut of everything. It's a very complicated issue. Gun activists argue it's not the gun doing this, it's the person that may be suffering from the mental illness. So that is kind of where the battle is just going back and forth. Is it the gun? Do we need to restrict guns, or do we need to provide more access to mental health?
Absolutely. And Cindy, as you know, as we've mentioned, the 1-year anniversary is this Saturday of the Sandy Hook shooting. We hope that during this time of reflection, people are also aware that there has been progress made in the past year when it comes to gun laws and school safety.
Absolutely. That's what this is all about. We just want to figure out what we can do, whether it be gun control or mental health, to help protect children all across the country.
Thank you again for that update.